write, so I thought, yeah, I'm going to write a book. This is going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. I was so wrong. But in my heart, that's what I was kind of preparing myself for is, I don't even know where it started, I guess. I have truth tattooed on my arm, and I got this tattoo probably about 7 years ago, and it was a song lyric, embarrassingly, but it said, I'll take the truth at any cost, and I guess that's really when it started. The Lord started presenting things in my life that made me be really honest all the time. I had been waiting tables, I was a server, I can be very manipulative, and I'm very believable, and I knew that, and so the Lord then flipped that and was like, yeah, tattoo truth on your arm, and it just he constantly was presenting opportunities where I had to learn how to be truthful and trust that he was as good as he says he was, and trust that he's a redeemer of every mistake and everything that I've ever done, and really walk that out, which is why the tattoo on my arm is so valuable to me, and truth became my favorite word, not really understanding what that would look like later in my life. But when we started to do the wheel and started to look at that, I really looked at how off balance my life was. Vocationally, I excel because I live here. I have a cot in my office, it's cozy. I work all the time. I work when I get home. I love what I do. I love to serve you guys because you're my family. And so anytime I can do something and make it look beautiful for you, I will do that. And so I just realized that kind of took precedent over my life more than anything else, including any kind of value for myself. I would sleep and I would take rest days, but I really didn't invest in myself. I didn't put myself the place that I should be putting myself at. And so looking at this wheel, I was just looking at how off balance my life was and how much I was struggling in so many of these different areas. And the common thing, because to me they were all a byproduct of something else, like something deeper, my weight isn't just my weight, it's a, physical manifestation of my lack of discipline. This is something that's visible, that you can see that I lack something in this area. And consistently across the board, I saw that the biggest thing that I was lacking was discipline. Discipline with my time, discipline with who I spend my time with, and how much time I spend on work compared to personal time, how much time I invest in creativity or whatever. I realized that I had no discipline outside of my vocation. But you guys know that inside this building, you ask me to do something, I'll get it done. No matter what it takes, no matter how long I have to stay up at night, I'll make sure that I get it done. And in that area, I have great discipline. But I haven't let that filter across any other area of my life. So the Lord was preparing me, and we were looking at this wheel, and all of a sudden I'm realizing that the root of all of my problems are stemmed out of this lack of self-control and this lack of discipline. And when I was looking at this, I kind of was just asking the Lord, okay, what talents and what things have you already put inside me that have prepared me to go after this? And so I started looking at my natural giftings. I have no embarrassment meter. That doesn't exist in me. I'm not afraid to be direct. Shocking. I'm not afraid to be direct, I'm not afraid to be upfront, and I'm not afraid to be real about what's going on in my life. I rarely offer the information, but if you ever ask me, as most of you know, I'll be straight up with you and I'll tell you right off the bat, but I'm not going to walk into a meeting and be like, my heart is really hard. That's never going to happen. But if you ask me, then I'm always, I'm willing to be vulnerable with people that I trust. And throughout learning to trust people and be vulnerable and show my weakness, I kind of decided that opening it up to the entire church meant that I trust the Lord more than I trust people. Because that's what he was asking me to do. It wasn't about trusting the reactions of other people. Joey was really cute this weekend, because I was really nervous. And Joey kept being like, it's fine. And I'm like, you have no idea what you're talking about. This is not fine. I'm like, do you understand the magnitude of what the Lord has called me to do in this season? I'm like, you're adorable, but you're like 12. When you actually have to walk out something ridiculous that the Lord has called you to do, then come back and tell me it's fine, because it's not fine, But when I looked at, okay, what area of weakness do I have, and what has the Lord given me? He's made me a leader. My greatest strength is not discipline, obviously. My greatest strength is leadership. And I knew that if I didn't go after that in my greatest area, like in leadership, then I was going to fail. I wanted to pair what I was best at with what I was worst at and find something that made it work together. So then this project came up, and as I mentioned before, it It was not like this, oh, I have an idea, let's do this. This sounds like awesome. It wasn't like that at all. I definitely like threw my shoes at the Lord, and I was really mad about it, and I was like, I just don't understand how this is going to be a good idea for me. You know, about every 3 hours I would wake up panicking because I was literally just so terrified about letting everybody into every aspect of my life. You know, making videos and, you know, just showing people my life and my house and what I talk to people about, and really just sharing. Like, I just didn't think that I was that interesting. I didn't really think that, you know, I'm broken and I'm messed up and I'm weak and I have all these issues, and I'm like, you should not listen to me. You know, but believing that the Lord is going to give me the words to say and the things to do and the way to present this in a positive way. So anyway, so I planned to start February 1st. I talked to most of you about it in the process, and I love that you all gave me this like face of like, what? That's a terrible idea. But yes, I'm glad it's you and not me. That was the number one. Good for you. Good for you. But the Lord just kept putting it on my heart, and the more people I talk to about it, you know, everyone just keeps telling me that I'm really brave. But to me, it's not about bravery. To me, it's about just being honest. Like, it's not like I have this huge secret monster sin and I'm bringing it to light. This is not a secret to me. It's just being honest about something that you already see. It's just being truthful with people that I trust the most, you know. More than outside of the congregation, you know, I've had nothing but love and support from you guys, my family. And so, to me, that's all that matters. You know, the fact that everyone's behind me and is supporting me and all this kind of stuff, like, it's not about me doing something courageous. To me, it's just believing that the Lord is who he says he is, and trusting that when he calls me to do something, he's going to give me the grace to complete it. You know, there's so much grace in obedience. It's mind-blowing. You know, I weighed in this week, and I've already lost 18 pounds, and I haven't even done anything. Wow. But the biggest thing is that I definitely stalled. You know, I had this idea, and I started formulating it. And, if you don't want to be pushed by a freight train, don't ever tell Pastor Francis what your ideas are. Because he was like, every day, where's your blog? Where's your video? Where's your... And I just, it's almost like you just want him to stop bugging you, so you just do it. Which is where it kind of led me. You know, and I was 10 days late. I was supposed to start on the 1st, and I started on the 10th. And I was so proud of myself that it only took me 10 days to rationalize everything to make it happen, until I realized that it actually took me 12 years to get there. You know, because the Lord's been asking me since I was 18 to go after this. And so often I misinterpreted it, and I took that opportunity to teach big girls how to feel confident, how to feel beautiful, and all these things are totally valuable, but I was manipulating what the Lord was asking me to do. What he was asking me to do was so bold and so forward that I thought, there's no way that he actually would ask me to do that. You know, and before it's been like writing books. I mean, there's been a couple opportunities where I had significantly and vehemently said no. And I see now, 10 years later, the repercussions for saying no. And having to stand here on this and say, even though I've made 10 years of mistakes, I still believe that you're a redeemer. I still believe that you're better than me. I still believe that your goodness goes beyond my lack of willingness. And just trusting in him in that, you know. And like I said, this has not been easy for me to stand up and do this. I don't like... everyone sees me as such a strong person. I don't really like being the weak one. But it's been really good for me, you know, and just the response that I got from this weekend alone made what I'm doing worth it. Right. And I'm only 3 weeks in. You know, just, I mean, I had, there was one lady, she weighs, well, probably about 400 pounds, handed me a note, and all it said was, I need help. And it had her phone number on it. You know, and I just thought, like, if for 1 second, if you get healthy, then this whole thing was worth it. You know, Jen Clag is joining on, Casey Woodward, you know, people are joining left and right saying, I want to do this and I want to do this with you. And it's not about me, and it's not about a diet, and it's not about weight, because seriously, the weight is a byproduct of my life. It's not the root cause. It's not the main issue. Like, I can still function as a human being being overweight. And I have obviously no issues with self-confidence being overweight, but to me it's about, I can't be the fullness of who I am. I can't move my notch up that wheel. I can't fully engage in what the Lord has for me unless I learn the spirit of self-control, unless I let him be my discipline. And so it was a lot of pushing from the Lord, but really the biggest step for me was saying it out loud. From the second he gave me the idea, he made me tell someone 10 minutes later. You know, it was like, and he knew it too, because I was like, no. And he was like, go upstairs and tell somebody right now. And I was like, but, and he's like, I know you hear me. You know, like, he knows that we hear him. He knows that we, especially in this room, like, he speaks to all of us. He knows that we hear him. You know what he's calling you to work on right now. And it just took that yes, telling Diane and telling Nick first, and just being like, what do you think? And as soon as they were supportive, I was like, I'm really in for it now. You know, I was really hoping they'd be like, this is a terrible idea. You won't have me covering. That's what happened. So, yes. I guess that's all.
Awesome.
Very good.
Thanks.
You guys want to ask some questions? I want to ask some questions. I noticed when you presented it, you had partners in crime and then someone who's coaching you.
Yes.
How did you come to that idea? Many times we've had accountability partners.
Yeah.
Many times we've had a coach. That was kind of your own configuration. Tell me about that.
Okay, well, I know that the Fresh Start for Healthy Life program had done coaching, which I thought was a great idea. They were doing more group coaching, and I don't really function like that. I thought, rather than having this external person come into my life and try to teach me something, I would rather have people who know me. Because it was specifically about my personality, and then it's kind of morphing into something that I can actually explain to someone. Because for me, I needed someone, accountability-wise, someone that I wanted to talk to every day, someone that was willing to go on this journey with me, that was struggling with similar things, that we could pray about stuff together, we could talk about it. You know, me and Casey box almost on a daily basis. You know, and it was really her heart to be like, I'm not disciplined just because I'm not overweight does not mean that I have any discipline or that I'm right about what goes in my mouth. You know, and so she wanted to join it, which really her desire, paired with my desire, meant that we could run somewhere together. And so I needed someone that was willing to stand by me the entire 6 months, and someone that I knew could be consistent, I knew would check up on me, and I knew that her love for me was great enough that she would push me. And so I love Casey for that. She makes me go out walking, and all the Woodward children are running around us. But you know, it's nice to have someone there that day or night I know that I can call Ben and Casey, and I can be like, this is how I'm feeling right now. It's a safe place for me and someone I trust. But Casey she'll call me out, but she won't get in my face. And my personality is that I need someone who is not easily manipulated, isn't intimidated by me, isn't afraid of me, and won't deal with someone, like, because I can justify literally any behavior. I can justify in my mind why it's a good idea, why it's slightly spiritual or all spiritual, you know, like I can literally justify why it's relevant to not clean my kitchen and wait until tomorrow. I mean, literally anything. And most people will totally come into agreement with me because I make it sound so logical. But the only person in my life that I knew was